Hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining another Ready to Ride Pilates session where we are going to be looking at your abdominals today. Your abdominals are such a key group when it comes to helping with that connection between your upper body and your contact and your pelvis and your seat. So it's always a good set of muscles to be coming back to doing. We are going to start off lying down. So let's have you onto your back with your feet and knees approximately hip width apart. I don't have a headrest, but there's no reason why you can't have one at home. Neutral tummy position, so if you've got a spiky ball, this might be good exercise to have your spiky ball on your tummy. Pelvic floor onto floor 3, left hand at the top of your neck, base of your head. Then float your right hand, reach for your toes and bring your left shoulder towards your right knee. Then take everything back down together. So it's pelvic floor, float, reach into that turn and everything back down together. Watch that you are not pulling with this hand. If you are, pop your fingers around your ear instead and try to get your low back still. So we're not imprinting. You can go a lot further if you imprint, but we're being very specific in the way we do this movement. So it's really much more about your upper and mid back that doing the movement, not so much your low back. And we're going to swap and do the same thing with the other ball to the other side. So right hand at the top of your neck, base of your head, left hand by your side, neutral tummy, pelvic floor, then it's float, reach for your toes and it's right knee towards your left shoulder and everything back down together. So the same rules apply. If you find that you are pulling with your hand, pop your hand around your ear instead. And again, try not to go into that imprint position with your low back. So your low back is staying in that neutral position and we're moving through your upper back and mid back. One more this way. Good job, well done. Okay, we're going to move on to your hundreds exercise. You can do this with your feet on the floor. If you want to give yourself a little bit more of a challenge, you can join me one at a time, bringing your legs up into tabletop, and this is where you are going to keep them. So neutral tummy position, ribs towards your pelvis, pelvic floor onto floor 3, and we're going to pat that imaginary puddle of water by your side. Make sure that you're moving from your shoulders, not from your wrists or your fingers, from the shoulders. I suggest that you tap the floor with your middle or index finger, and that way you know that both arms move in the same speed, covering the same distance. Otherwise it's very easy to find that one hand is doing a lot more movement than the other. And bearing in mind that your hands and your arms, they are your contact, you want them to be doing the same thing unless you specifically want them to be doing something different. Hopefully that makes sense. Okie doke. Let's rest your hands one at a time, bring your feet back down onto the floor, and we're going to move on to your scissors. I suggest for this one that you have your hands onto your head like so you've got a little bit more feedback about what is going on. Pelvic floor onto floor 3, ribs to pelvis, and then you can choose which version you do. So if you want to do the simpler version, it's each leg in turn up to tabletop. If you want to do the middle version, it's each leg in turn down from tabletop, but watch that we're not just getting paddling of the feet, bending of the knees. This is a hip exercise. Remember, it is also a wine glass exercise, so the leg that isn't moving really doesn't move. Okay, or you can turn it into your level 3, so both legs are on the go at once. It doesn't matter which one you do as long as your technique is good and your ribs stay towards your pelvis and they're not creeping upwards, because then you're going to be moving through your spine and not through your hips. Don't forget to breathe and keep your pelvic floor onto floor 3. So keep running through that little checklist. Rib position, pelvic floor, breathing. Oh, the knees still at 90. And we will finish there. We're going to get onto your side to do your side bend. Okay, so you need to be in your capital L position. If you've got any shoulder pain, then you can absolutely do this one completely flat. You don't have to be propped up to do this one, but it just makes it a bit more of an abdominal exercise if you are propped up. Okay, so capital L, top arm onto your top side, pelvic floor onto floor 3, and we're synchronizing lifting and lowering top arm and pelvis, making it smooth and coordinated. If you want to make it harder, do this with your top leg elevated. Make sure that pelvic floor is staying onto floor 3 And watch you don't start to hold your breath as you're doing this. If you want to make it harder still, we'll add in straightening the bottom leg. No, but straightening your top leg. Very difficult to straighten your bottom leg. Straightening your top leg at the same time. So now you're synchronizing 3 parts of your body, but still with control. Your abdominals maybe starting to get a little bit tired. Do a couple more. Okay, last one. And then we're going to turn onto your front to have a go at your swan dive. You might be thinking, what's this got to do with abdominals? Anything that is holding your spine in a certain position is going to be abdominals. So this is a good exercise for your spine as well. Sorry, your abdominals as well. So elbows out, 90 degrees. For you at home, I want you to be looking down. I'm facing you so that you can hear me speaking. So you want your shoulder blades back and down so they're away from the mat. So they're not sinking down, they're back and down. Tummy away from the puddle of water, pelvic floor onto floor 3. And your level 1 version is just moving your head and neck. So you're going to be moving like this. Staying looking down at your mat, shoulders back and down, tummy away from the puddle of water. If you want to make it a bit harder, same thing, but your arms come up as well. Shoulders back and down, tummy away from the puddle of water, pelvic floor onto floor 3, regular breathing, and your arms moving with your head and neck. Watch that your elbow is moving with the rest of your arm. I often see this sort of thing happening. Keep your elbows moving with the rest of your arms. Keep your tummy away from the puddle of water. Don't forget to breathe. We're doing 2 more. Super. Let's go on to the side you haven't already been on to have a go at your side bend that way. So once again, capital L position. Top arm onto your top side as before. If you want to be flat, that's absolutely fine. So we're going to start off with pelvic floor into that lift and back down again, synchronizing the arm and the pelvis. Good control all the way through so you don't land with a plop. This works your glutes a lot as well, but it really works the abdominals on the side that you are on. Let's make it a bit harder by lifting the top leg. Don't forget to breathe and keep your pelvic floor onto floor 3. And then, harder still if you want, straightening the top leg at the same time. So those abdominals working really hard now, those side ones, your oblique ones, to help with that lifting up, that push up and controlling you back down. Keep the breathing though, so you don't want to be working so hard with your abdominals that you then find that you can't breathe. Don't forget your pelvic floor as well. So if you're finding that you've really lost your pelvic floor, maybe that you're just trying a little bit too hard, drop back down a level. Do 2 more of this one. Super job. Okay, I'm going to come up into sitting. And we are going to do your leg pull in sitting. So for this one, you want to have your hands quite a little way out behind you. If they're too close underneath, it just gets really difficult to push up at all. So you want them out behind you. Pelvic floor onto floor 3, then open your hips like a hinge and slowly back down. So it's pelvic floor, open like a hinge, slowly back down. If you're happy with this one, you can carry on doing this particular version. Otherwise, you can make it a bit harder by doing some leg lifts. And you want to be keeping your pelvis level as you do your leg lifts, and your tummy muscles, amongst a lot of other muscles, but your tummy muscles are going to be helping you to do that control. So headlights are staying level as you do each lift. Don't forget about your pelvic floor, and also keep that breathing very regular. One more with each leg. Super. And then close that hinge, and we're going to go onto your hands and knees, and we're going to do your leg pull in this position. So you need your hands a little in front of your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, toes tucked underneath your feet, pelvic floor onto floor 3, then lift your knees and slowly back down. So it's pelvic floor, lift and slowly back down. And it is just a little lift. You're not trying to go up really high. You'll actually be working harder if you keep the lift quite small. Okay, we're going to make it a little bit harder now, although if you're happy with doing that version, you by all means can stay doing it. But if you want to go a bit harder, into the lift, you're going to stay there and flick each foot from the ankle. So you're kind of pointing your toe, but try to keep your knees level, your pelvis level, and your back still. Don't forget to breathe as well, and keep your pelvic floor onto floor 3. This is quite hard work, so don't forget about your basics. Do one more with each foot, and then back over and down. Well done. Okie doke. Let's bring your hands up towards your knees, and I'd like you to come so you're sitting cross-legged. And we're going to stretch everything out because you've been working jolly hard. So bring your arms up and out into a V shape, and then take your arms behind you for a stretch on the front of your chest, and then back up above you. And again, take them behind you, nice big stretch, and up above. And one more, take your arms behind you, give big stretch, and up above. Then bring your hands back down, and some nice big rolls up, back and down through the whole of your shoulders. Any tension, just roll it all away. Do one last one, and we're going to finish there. Well done everyone. Good little mix for you there. You may well have found some of those harder than others. If you found anything particularly difficult, always worth revisiting that, maybe doing that exercise 5 times a week for a few weeks, and see if you then find that you are getting stronger at it. I hope you've enjoyed it though. Thank you so much for watching, and look after yourselves, and I'll see you again very soon.